Diolch, Llywydd. How much profit are Keolis Amy expected to make out of Welsh rail passengers during the next 15 years?
Well, there are, of course, commercial matters which Llywodraeth Cymru will be aware of. What I can say, however, is that for £150 million, Keolis Amy will deliver a rail franchise for Wales and the borders below the current cost of £185 million. It's a total investment of £738 million as well on phase 2 of the metro. And what we will see is, for the first time, a rail system that people of Wales deserve and not the cast-offs of other networks.
First Minister, there's been talk of this 3% cap on profits, and if that is true, that is no cap at all, because according to the rail industry's own trade body, the Rail Delivery Group, the average operating profit for a rail company is 2.9%. So this means that your cap is higher than the average profit margin for train companies. Putting that aside, the Wales and the Borders franchise doesn't commercially make a profit. So the only way that any rail company makes money is through government subsidies. That means, First Minister, that you are paying profits out of our budget to the pockets of private shareholders. Secondly, the idea that you won't pay a company if it doesn't meet its targets is hardly some kind of radical socialist policy, because nobody pays for work that hasn't been done. It's as simple as that. Now, page 20 of the manifesto on which you were elected promised that you would deliver a not-for-profit rail operator. You have failed. You've done the exact opposite. So can you explain, if you believe that the only way to deliver a rail service that works for people in Wales is through a not-for-profit operator, why have you lumbered us with a second-rate private rail service for the next 15 years?
Oh, talking Wales down. Talking Wales down yet again. This is of all the people who have commented yesterday, the only party who have said this is a bad idea, then it's going to be a second-rate network, is Plaid Cymru. The party of Wales, apparently, who is saying this. Now, you know, there are legitimate questions. I understand that in terms of the way it works, but to say this is a second-rate network is simply not true. Have a look at what is being proposed for Wales, and bear in mind that the delivery cost is a good £30 million below the current cost. So actually, this is far better value for money than the current system with Arriva. She asks the question again, you know, why was it not the case that this was not set up as a not-for-profit? Why is it not the case that a public sector operator is not running the service? Because the law says so. That's why she can't do it, her party can't do it. The reality is, she is saying to the people of Wales, you know, we would have done something that actually we know legally we can't do. And that's not a particularly credible position, I would suggest. For goodness sake, let's all celebrate the fact we have an excellent rail service that's going to be set up across the whole of Wales. People will benefit, good value, new trains, air-conditioned, all delivered by a Welsh Government working for the people of Wales.
First Minister, a cap of 3% will see profits to Keolis Amy in the region of between £100 and £150 million from this contract. Whether you pay them now or in 5 years' time means that the Welsh taxpayer is putting money in the pockets of private company shareholders instead of reinvesting back in our own rail network. That's £150 million that could have been spent on better trains, on more stations, on cheaper tickets. Now, the Scotland Act 2016 contained a clause that explicitly allowed for the Scottish Government to procure a public sector rail operator. 1 year later...
I do need to hear, and I'm sure the First Minister needs to hear the leader of Plaid Cymru. So can we please allow Leanne Wood to continue, please? Please.
Diolch, Llywydd. 1 year later, there was no such clause in the Wales Act of 2017. Despite this, your government obediently voted to accept this new devolution deal from your friends in the Conservative government at the UK level. Now, Plaid Cymru didn't dance to Westminster's tune. Plaid Cymru voted against that bill. First Minister, do you now regret backing the Tories by voting for the deficient Wales bill?
Just over 2 years ago, we all sat in this chamber and watched Plaid Cymru actively canvass the support of the Tories in order for the leader of Plaid Cymru to become the First Minister. And now, she sits and lectures us about working with the Tories. I mean, memories are incredibly short on the Plaid Cymru benches. If she asks me, am I happy with every element of the last Wales Act? The answer is no, of course it's not. There are some elements of it which I don't like, but most of it is something that I think was worth support. I don't take the absolutist view that she takes of, let's jump off the edge of the cliff and let's see what happens. The reality is that there's more work to be done on devolution. We know that, I know that she knows that. But what we have delivered in the constraints that we have is a better value, better system that the people of the valleys will support, the people of the whole of Wales will support, will deliver a first-rate system for Wales, a first-rate railway system, the best rail system that has ever been produced for Wales, a system that will deliver the best trains, a system that will provide jobs for Newport, for CAF, 300 jobs there, a system that will ensure that we meet our targets in terms of sustainability, in terms of job creation, in terms of economic growth. Why on earth can't Plaid Cymru just for once support something that is good for Wales?